You're listening to Selling the Dream. This isn't an interview, and we're not journalists, but each week, we'll ask our guests to open up and share their secrets to business success. Let's have a conversation and have some fun.
Hey everybody, welcome to Selling the Dream, your podcast if you're interested in entrepreneurship, if you're interested in selling, if you're interested in leadership, if you're interested in learning or talking about any of those things or hearing us talk about those things, this is the place to be. As always, I'm joined with my co-host, Joe Iredell, coming to us from Carlsbad, California. Joe, haven't caught up in a while. How are things in California?
Man, rocking and rolling, brother. It's a good time to be alive, you know.
It is. It's a great time to be alive, and I know that you're enjoying some beautiful weather out there. It's starting to turn a little bit early here.
Big news! I haven't talked to you recently. Well, we got a dog, bro.
No, you didn't.
We did. We got a dog.
What'd you get?
It's used, so I don't know what it is, but we got it used. It's
How many miles are on it?
It's a little bit under a year, I think, but dog year.
All right, wait. You still have the rabbit?
Yeah.
The dog and the rabbit get along?
We had to set up some mediation, and they're going through some counseling right now to work out some issues about who gets what. But they're working through it. I think they're they're in it. They're both they both have the same goal in mind. They just have different approaches to it. So
I can see that. I will tell you, when we got our dog about a year ago, I did not want a dog. There was nothing. Last thing I wanted was another heartbeat in my house that I had to take care of. And we got the dog, and he's the coolest thing on the planet. I love him.
See, I figured if I just add one more thing to the mix that I can blame stuff on when it's broken or eaten, then takes the heat off me a little bit.
That's true. I'm sure the kids are thrilled about that too.
Yeah, they're fans.
Yeah. We have an awesome show today. We have a super cool guest that I'm very, very excited to introduce. I have so many questions, and I can't wait to dive into them. See where this conversation takes us. I want to introduce Dr. Suzanne Vester. Dr. Suzanne Vester is a doctor in, I knew I was going to forget how to pronounce it,
naturopathy.
Naturopathy. Thank you very much. Dr. Suzanne is a doctor in naturopathy and a doula. I just learned what a doula was. It makes me feel kind of silly. I'm sure my wife knows, and she's going to be embarrassed that I didn't know what it was. But share with our audience, what is a doula? For those that don't know, maybe it's just me.
No, you're not alone. Doula is a non-medical person that is a support person for mom during birth, both labor, delivery, and postpartum. We have the amazing opportunity of just loving on mom, helping her to transition, getting what she needs, helping her to advocate for herself during her birth process. It is one of the best parts of my job.
That sounds like a lot of fun. That really does sound like a lot of fun. I don't know how you end up in that industry, I guess, but it does.
That's a whole story in and of itself.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about your journey, into,
KJ,
naturopathy.
Two truths and a lie. You always yell at me for not reminding you two truths and a lie.
Oh, that's right. I even told Suzanne that was going to happen. All right. Before we get into your journey, let's talk about our two truths and a lie. This is the game that we play. It's always a lot of fun. Joe is going to try and figure out at the end which one is the lie. So let's start with the three facts. Mm-hmm. One of them is a lie. Two of them are true. Start with number one.
My mom was a public school teacher, kindergarten.
Your mom was a public school teacher?
She was.
Okay. All right. Number two.
My father was a pastor.
Okay. Number three.
I played collegiate tennis.
Collegiate tennis. Okay.
Whoa. Those are
fantastic. I think I just gave myself a little hint, but we'll get back to that later.
All right.
We'll get back to that later. So tell us, what inspired you to pursue becoming and help us with you're a biblical naturopathy.
Yes.
Okay. How and you're have a huge concentration on holistic health.
Correct.
What kind of pushed you in that direction?
I've always kind of been one of these people who just loves to learn almost for the sake of learning, because I don't feel like you can go into anything too educated. And growing up, I grew up in a small town in the western part of North Carolina. And my grandparents, I was very blessed. They lived almost next door to us. And they were very rooted in, like, this is how you fix problems. You don't always have to go to the doctor. You don't always have to look at it as a life sentence. This is how we fix problems. Very rooted to nature, very rooted to the basics. So that's how I grew up. And then as I got older and began to see the health history of my family corporately, I was like, oh, I have got to outrun that as fast and as hard as I can, because I don't want to end up in some of the places that they were in. And kind of combine that desire to not have health problems, to have good longevity, with how I was raised, how I grew up. It was almost a perfect blend of, how do I do that? And how do I do that well to steward myself without going the traditional route, without taking an ibuprofen for every headache, without eating all of the terrible, terrible foods that are available and feeling like trash afterwards. So that desire to outrun my potential health problems in my older age just really kind of led me down the path of, okay, like, why do we not use more plant-based options when it comes to medicinals? We have all of these amazing herbs out there. We have all of these amazing compounds that are being mimicked in laboratories to create medications. Why can't we just go back to the source and use those and see what comes of that? Because our bodies, I very strongly believe, are meant to heal, are meant to be active and prosperous and thriving. And the only way we're going to get there and do that is to really dive back into the roots of how we are built, how we're made, and how our body works.
Early on, you had to make a decision, or at least take a stance on Western medicine.
Yes.
Has that evolved at all?
I would have to say not really, because I've always been a very strong advocate for it has its place. And I'll give a great example. This past Friday, 5 days ago now, I had surgery. I had my gallbladder removed. It was not something I wanted,
You look great.
unfortunately. Thank you. It wasn't something I wanted, but it was something that was necessary and was largely unplanned. So I do feel like it absolutely has its place, but I don't know that I feel like it has its place when it comes to preventative things. It's not very good at preventing things. It's very good at treating symptoms. It's very good at treating major problems. If you are in a car accident and you crush your leg, you're going to need medical intervention. That's just the way it is. I can't help you fix that problem naturally. You're going to require more intervention. So I think it absolutely has its place. I just really struggle with the band-aiding philosophy that I see far too often with providers and clients who are coming in through the practice.
Do you put a higher emphasis on that, on where Western medicine has its role, where it's maybe being overprescribed in the mental health space? Do you believe there's a lot of opportunities there for people who are looking for alternatives to the Western medicine when it comes to whether it be anxiety or depression or the things that aren't a broken bone issue?
Yes, I very strongly do, because if you look at the most prescribed pharmaceuticals in the mental health space, they're being prescribed to individuals for years, and they're really meant to be used for short periods of time. until you can find a different directions, whether that is through natural medicine, through counseling, through just getting out into nature more, getting away from things that are being the culprits of your depression and your anxiety, but they're really meant to be short-term usage medications. And what we're finding is they're not short-term usage. They're being used for years and years and years, and their compounded effect is very detrimental to your body's systems for that long of a period of time. And what you find is you're in the ditch after a year or two on these prescription medications. And in order for you to get back out onto the road and stay within those white lines, man, it requires a lot of work, a lot of very focused work, intentional work. And it is not easy. There are lots of setbacks. It's definitely not linear. The one thing I wish I could impress upon people the most when it comes to your mental health is nothing that you take pharmaceutically, with very few exceptions, is ever going to fix the problem. It's just not going to fix the problem. The problem is the thing that you've not yet given a name to. You may feel anxiety, you may feel depression, but what is at the cause of that? What is the problem that is causing that?
So is that to say, because I agree 100% with everything you just said. And like, I guess my take on it has always been with prescribing drugs to fix these things. Like, I just feel like a majority of the issues aren't actually physiological. Like when it comes to the mental health stuff, it's there's so many external factors that are making people feel the way that they feel, and prescribing drugs and things like that. It's not like it's not stopping those thoughts from entering their brain. It's like it's just altering the thoughts in their brain with drugs, which then their reality gets screwed up. But I don't want to say like against Western medicine, but if you look at it as a business, like the business model is their worst customers is a healthy person or a dead person. So if they can keep them somewhere in that range between dead and healthy, then they're going to have a customer for life. So that's where it's really like
But
it's
couldn't you controversially, couldn't you say that about any even holistic practitioners? Is it I mean, how would you kind of reposition that argument, Suzanne?
I would say that you have very good Western practitioners who really do have the heart of, I want to see you well and healthy and thriving. They're very, unfortunately, few and far between. But you also have, on the other spectrum, like you just mentioned, you also have natural providers whose business model is very much like a Western practitioner. And that's problematic in that you can pop a pill as a pharmaceutical, you can also pop a supplement. Neither of those two things are going to be the answer to the problem. What you have to really kind of look at, especially I tell people this all the time, when you're looking for a practitioner, ask them very succinctly and listen to their answer. Where do you want me to be in a year? As the client, ask that question. My answer to that question is always, I would love for you to see me as a resource in a year, but not as the source of whatever it is we're working on. I want to graduate you onto the next part of your life. Come back to me whenever you feel like you need to. But the end goal is for you to not need me anymore. I want to give you education. I want to give you solutions. I want to give you options. And then I want you to decide what's best for you in each given moment. I don't want to be the one dictating to you what I think you need to do. It's your choice, but I want to be a resource for you. The negative part is so many functional practitioners at this point, they do see it as, well, how much can I get out of recurring revenue from each one of the people on my roster? And if you're trying to graduate someone off your roster within a 12-month period, then you've lost potential revenue and you have to replace that revenue. The good news is there are plenty of people who need your help.
Never ending supply,
There's a
really.
never ending supply. You just have to be very mindful. And sometimes you have to, as a practitioner, you have to let someone go because they are hanging on, wanting the next fix for the next thing. And you have to very gently and kindly tell them, you know what? I think we have come to an impasse here because you're giving too much reliance on the things that I can recommend to you versus your ability to go out and really do well on your own. So there's that really weird codependence that comes in there. Sometimes you have
But
to just say, I got to let you go.
Yeah.
I rather see someone addicted to being healthy than dependent upon not being sick. So it's
A
almost like that.
1000%.
You go to
Well,
the gym, like yeah, I can get in really good shape in the gym, but like once I get in that shape, like I'm not going to stop. Like I want to keep
Mhm.
going back to the gym, and you can go, and you can be healthier or less healthy, but like a gym is a positive place that's going to, make your body better. Whereas like the flip side of that, if I go to a doctor because I'm taking Prozac, like I stop taking Prozac, I go off the rails. Like that's
Mhm.
not getting me better. That's just keeping me from going freaking crazy. So like
Right.
that's the trade off.
Yeah.
have you ever had a situation where you feel like someone has made great strides and progress, but now they're like, it's you they want to, you know what I mean? Where they
Yes.
really put so much into the relationship that it's hard to let that go.
Yes. Absolutely. And that is, that's very gratifying for me personally. I have to be honest because I want people to know, love, and trust me. That's kind of the ultimate compliment. But then I have to shift them onto, okay, that's awesome. Let me put you into this ancillary program. We'll still talk. We'll still have communication. We'll still be connected. You can still come back if you need me, but I'm going to put you here. And then I'm going to let you take all of the amazing experiences you've had with, going through the process, going through the program, whatever. And then your relationship with me, I'm going to let you then become like a mentor as sorts into this space. I'm going to empower you with that because I love the relationships, but there's this really, really fine line you have to walk because
I'm
I
just
will
thinking
always
of
know
what
more
about
about you than you know about me.
have you ever seen What About Bob with Bill Murray?
Yes.
That's the visual I'm getting.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
sailing, keep sailing, Bob.
Yes.
That is a great analogy. It's
Yep.
and I feel like your approach is very much like the parent approach, the healthy a parent. This is me being incredibly like judgmental, but parents who are you're the authority until they're a certain age. You tell them exactly what to do, what to eat, when to eat, how to sleep, when to sleep. Then you become a coach where you're giving them advice, mostly unsolicited,
Mhm.
but you're also giving them room to make mistakes. And then if God willing, you become their consultant,
Yes.
where as you graduate them to adulthood, they just call you when they need you, you know?
Yes.
And you don't give unsolicited advice anymore. You don't tell them how to raise their kids, or, I mean, you could, but you're probably not going to be met with a lot of, acceptance there. So I feel like that's such a healthy approach. And your oddly optimistic view that there's many more people that need your help, right?
Yes. I
Um,
think that if you have to look at it in terms of you never want to have a scarcity mindset in any area of your life. And that includes like, how am I going to get the next cohort of clients? Well, I have no idea. I just know that there are plenty of people out there who are going to resonate with who I am, what I stand for, and how I practice that are going to want to be a part of that. Where do I find them? In the craziest places. But I just have to know that there are more people out there because there is a limitless supply of bad information and bad practices that needs to be undone.
as a leader, someone who recruits, someone who employs, and Joe, same with you. I think that managers and leaders, business leaders, they could learn from that mindset too. I think that our job is to grow our people. And sometimes our people could outgrow our organization. And we have to be okay. Like if you're doing your job, if you're doing what's right by them, then they very well may outgrow your organization. And there's a never-ending supply of people that could benefit from being within your organization, whether it's entry level or mid level. That too many leaders, too many managers, they tyrannically keep people, in a certain place. And it's the same, I guess, that a natural practitioner or a psychologist, psychiatrist, or even a regular doctor, right? Could they're just holding on too tight for the profit model, right?
Right.
For the entrepreneur, for the leader, it's the time model. Like, do I want to really train somebody again, and and go through all that? But yeah, I think there's a great analogy there between the two.
I think the biggest compliment you can have as a leader of anything, whether it be your business or your family or whatever it is. I think the biggest compliment you can have is that you have been such a good mentor to someone and you have supplied their needs and trained them well, helped them learn and see what their potential is that they do outgrow you and then go on to do something on their own. I really feel strongly that is probably the biggest compliment to how you lead and structure and train and mentor and just your relational component of whatever it is that you're doing. I would consider it a great privilege almost to launch someone into their next season.
Sure.
Obviously, always come back if you need something, but outgrow me, please. Don't need me anymore because
Well,
that means I
that's
have done a job well.
they're like your best advocate. That's a walking billboard for
Absolutely.
how effective your services are. And like, I don't want to. There's a certain profession that I'll say it. So like, I know a lot of people that go to chiropractors, and I have a different view on chiropractic. And each, I see that the need for it, but that profession is riddled with a lot of people who are very profit driven, and
Yes.
there are people that I know that have been going to chiropractors for years, and like their back always hurts. I've never gone to a chiropractor. I'm blessed. I haven't had any back problems or anything, but I feel like when people go to one, like they have to keep going to a chiropractor and they're always complaining about their back. And it seems like that's, a trap that you get into, but then you talk to these guys and you know, their solution to everything is to come in for an adjustment. And
Mhm.
so that
Well,
model doesn't work because then you talk to people like, I don't want to, like, this guy's always complaining about his back and then telling me how great his chiropractor is. I'm like,
they say with the person who's got a hammer, everything looks like a nail,
I
right?
don't know, man. I don't know if there's a connection here, but like, I don't
Yeah.
go to one and my back's
Well,
fine. I got buddies, they don't go to chiropractors. Their back's fine too. But
so
I don't
I have an opinion on chiropractors. I actually do see a chiropractor fairly regularly, and the reason that I see this particular chiropractor regularly is because the first time I ever saw him in office, um, he said, "Listen, like I think you just need some soft tissue work. I don't really think we need to do anything crazy. And honestly, like I'm here if you need me, but I'm not going to reschedule you. Like if you need me, call me." Which that's exactly what I was looking for. Like, I need for you to tell me where you think things are crazy. I don't want it to be extreme. And I definitely don't want you to say, okay, now let's schedule your next 10 sessions.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
You know, it was very much client led, which is why I still see him, honestly.
Client led. That's a great term. That's a great term.
It's good.
Let's put this into let's zoom out for a minute. The chiropractic. Let's talk about holistic practice. What are the categories? If I had never heard of a holistic practitioner, educate me on what that means.
A holistic approach is one that takes every component of your life and gives it equal weight. So we look at your physical body, we look at your emotional health, your mental health, your spiritual well-being, and any other area that you want to throw in for that fifth one. It can be financial, it can be familial, whatever it is. The core four, though, would be your body, your mind, your emotions, and your mental health. So as we're looking at each of those components, we try to figure out where are you spending the most time and getting the least amount of results. And for a lot of people, what they don't understand is if energy goes from one into another, then eventually you're going to have nothing in that bucket. And we have to find a way to not have balance. I hate that word when it comes to like living. We have to be balanced. No, you don't need to be balanced. You need to be all in everywhere your feet are. You need to be in harmony. So you might be giving, 100% at work when you're at work. But when you're at home, you also need to be giving 100% there. Physically, same thing. If you are stressed out, not sleeping, your diet is trash, then your physical health is going to be suffering. Well, guess what else is going to suffer? all the other areas of your life. So we look at it and give them equal weight. When we treat them, we don't necessarily treat them equally because they may not need equal treatment. One may need a little boost and one may need a backhoe to get you out of wherever you are. But we approach it from the standpoint of you can be well, you can be healed from whatever it is that you're struggling with. And we're going to get you there, but we need for you to have patience and understand it takes time. That's where I think it gets a little misrepresented potentially with practitioners is we'll come in, take this supplement, everything's going to be great. Well, it's just not going to work that way. It might fix one area, but you're still going to need to fix the other areas as well. So the goal isn't to have perfection in any area. It's just to have good progress and forward momentum so that you're not falling in the ditch in any one space. Then you have that trickle down effect in every other area.
So from physical wellness standpoint, then the body and the mind, I guess, for that matter, you know, what are some of the, you said supplements, what are some of the other natural options that are out there?
Well, this is going to sound really basic, but the sun is amazing. Dirt is awesome. And
Okay.
you really need to connect with something greater than yourself. And I think if you focus on those three first, as simplistic as it sounds, you're going to be better because then you're not reliant on whether or not something is in stock or whether or not you have a reaction to it or any controversial studies that you see plastered all over the internet. Just those three basic things. If you can focus on that, then awesome. Then we can talk about other things. But more to your question, we do deal with supplements. We try to do things in a whole food way when possible, and supplementally when not. We look at herbs, we look at plants, we look at minerals, we look at all different kinds of things. And we actually even use traditional lab testing in a lot of situations to figure out where are you struggling and where is your body screaming at you? Because your symptom is not just a symptom, it's your body screaming at you that something is wrong. We need to figure out why it's screaming at you. But how we treat that is a variety of different things. But we just really try very hard to make it simple and compounding. So do one thing, get really good at it, get some results from it, and then let's add the second. There's really no need to throw everything at yourself at one time.
Do you believe in, and this is like kind of a weird way to phrase the question, but how frustrated do you get with the internet?
Oh, I wish I could burn it to the ground some days.
All right. You see things like, you know, a foot massage can relieve, shoulder pain, like those kind of things. Acupuncture. Where are you on this spectrum for those types of practice? I guess that would be not ancient medicine, but Eastern medicine. I guess is that fair to say?
Yes. So there's a lot of misinformation about traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, those kinds of things that have been around for thousands of years. And I think the biggest misconception is that they're not rooted in, quote, science. I use that very loosely. But if you look at how they process different things and how they say your body processes different things, I would argue that there's a lot more truth than fantasy in them. And the reason behind that is we did not get to where we are today because we had idiots in our past. They
Good
had
point.
figured a lot of things out well in advance of when we have. And I think honestly, in some cases did it a lot better. But as far as like the fringe type things, there are very few things that I am very much like, yeah, don't do that. Just don't do that.
What's one?
What is one?
Good
My
question.
big one is the master cleanse and detoxes. Those are things I'm like, yeah, just don't go there.
Okay.
Don't go there. And the reason being is you can go there, but you don't need to go there on your own based on the information you got off of some random website that can't be validated. There's so many things that have to be done prior to going into like a cleanse or a detox that you're going to end up miserable and sick and probably way worse off than you started. And you're going to blame it on that particular thing. Well, it wasn't probably that particular thing. It's probably pretty good. It was all the things you didn't do prior to starting because that's what they don't talk about. Hey, go do this cleanse, go do this detox. You're going to lose 30 pounds in, 10 days or whatever. And what it might end up putting you in the hospital over something because, well, for a whole lot of reasons that we probably don't
You'll
have
lose
time to
10
go into.
pounds. If I
You
say
might
that.
lose 10 pounds, but you might also be on an intravenous
As
IV for
advertised.
hours.
I've gone down a rabbit hole uh, on ancient medicine, and feel free to say I don't know enough about it, but where are you with some of the things that we're hearing more about, frequencies here's another word I never pronounce correctly. Sophagel frequencies.
Solfeggios.
Say that again.
Solfeggio.
Yes. I don't know why I can't get that one.
So
Have
this
you
is a
done
little,
any research or have you done any work in that area?
yeah, so it's a little controversial because a lot of people see it as being very woo-woo and not biblical. However, um, I would argue that we are all energy beings. We all have an energy to us. So that's kind of like the ground level arguments. Go look at how you're made and how your body functions. I think there's a tremendous missed opportunity when it comes to frequencies. And I will give you an example. Depending on who I'm seeing during the day, there's a certain thing playing in my office during their entire visit, and it's tailored
Interesting.
specifically to them. And it's always frequency. It's, do they need to be more calm? Are they coming in and their house is, on fire? Not literally, but,
Sure.
figuratively. Are they coming in and they're post-operative? Are they coming in and they're dealing with, multiple chronic illnesses, whatever that is? Whatever they're coming in with, I have a frequency playing in my office the entire time they're there, specifically for them. Is it going to be the magic bullet? No, it is not going to be a magic bullet. Is it going to help your body reset and do the things it needs to do? I absolutely believe that it does. I think in ADHD is where we see it probably the most, when we have kids who just can't sit, can't function. Their executive functioning is in the dumpster. If you have a certain frequency playing in the background, it doesn't have to be loud. Their ability to sit still, problem solve, put things in order, it goes up tremendously.
What frequency is that for
I would
the
have to go
ADHD?
back and look on my cheat sheet because I can't ever remember.
Oh,
I want
I'd
to say
love
it's
the cheat
400.
sheet.
I
I
want to
would
say it's
love that cheat sheet.
428. I want to say it's 428 hertz, but I
Okay.
could be wrong.
So for KJ, for you, it's the Backstreet Boys. You walk in, he's playing the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
You know you're in a good place.
Yeah,
I will say,
my frequency is 98 degrees.
I love, there is a product out there by Marconi Union. If you've never heard of that, you
Okay.
can look it up in different places. They have a lot, and it's really good. One that I love, that I actually use when I'm in hospitals during birth, is called Weightless. And it just really sets the tone of the room. Give it a try. Would love
Yeah,
to see what you think.
I will absolutely give it a try. Like I said, I am all over. Like I can't get enough of the information around the frequencies, and I'm practicing it and trying it, and I do feel like it helps. I wish there was more research on it available, but I feel like just like Eastern medicine, ancient medicine is just there's just there's no profit motive to even research these things. You
There
know,
isn't.
and ever since, and the Industrial Revolution was not that long ago in the grand scheme of things. So the rise in what we call modern medicine really is brand new to
Yes.
human beings, and it's a shame that there's not more out there. And I appreciate the opportunity for me to ask these silly questions of someone who knows far more than I do about these things, and I do think that there's something to it. I think there's something to natural supplementation. I think there's something problems with our food source, that there are certain minerals that we just don't get as humans anymore that our ancestors did, and why supplementation is so important. And yeah, I think the ancients were onto something that we're going to rediscover hopefully someday. You had mentioned, something greater than you, attach yourself to. Is that where your faith comes into your practice?
Yes,
How do you
absolutely.
help people who are not religious? Like, I'm sure that has to come up.
Yeah, it does. And the way that I approach that is completely without judgment. I will serve you regardless of what background you're coming from. But the thing I find to be the most impactful is when I'm talking with someone who feels just the weight of the world on their shoulders. It's all dependent upon them. And when I ask them the question, well, if you could give that to somebody else, if you could just give that stress, that pressure, that weight away to somebody else, and just know that you're going to have some help there, would that help you? Would it help you to give it, give part of it to me, or give part of it, to God, or however you worship? Um, I think that when you connect in a way to something that is outside of you, that you can do nothing for, like you can do nothing for. I'm a Christ follower, and I know that I can't do anything that is going to benefit Christ. Like he is all knowing, he's just there. But if I know that I don't have to carry every struggle that comes my way by myself, that just frees me up to know that, what, success or failure, awesome. I just know that it doesn't stop with me. And helping someone understand that if you can connect through meditation, through prayer, whatever it is, you're going to be able to unload all of the things that are ping-ponging around in your brain, and just let someone else have that for however long. And if you can do that and people can get in a practice of that, then their ability to problem solve and not catastrophize everything that happens to them gets so much better. Even if it's just small things, connect through meditation, sit and be quiet, be with your own thoughts for a little bit. That
It's
drives most
scary
people
for some
crazy.
people.
It does. It's really, it's very intimidating. Even for myself, it's very intimidating. I don't like to be with myself, but for so long. But
Hmm.
because then I start, like, my brain goes in all these crazy different directions.
Yes.
Um, but I think when you can connect to something that is greater than you, and you know that it doesn't have to stop with you, you're not responsible for the success or failure of every single thing that pops into your radar every single day. It just frees your brain up to really focus on what's the most important, whether that's your family or, your job in the moment, whatever it is, or wherever your feet are. That's a big thing. I tell people all the time, be present 100% wherever your feet are. And if you can do that, your life is going to get infinitely simpler. It just will.
I'd say this. I found this. I don't know if I've shared this previously on podcast, but something that is recently uncovered to me is that the and this true fact, your brain can't process anxiety and gratefulness at the same time. And so
Right.
I I heard it and I was like, it's whatever. And I get stressed all the time. And recently, like this has been months now, where like the second, especially at night, like I'll wake up and my mind will race and like all these things. And if every time that I've been in one of those stressful situations and I've taken a step back and be like, thank thank you for what I have, and you just start thinking about the fact that like you're in that position to handle that stress because you can handle it. Like you're there, you got there because you're able, you have the skill set, you've got to a place where like this is your stress. Like, and the greater the stress, the greater success that you've had because it's placed on you. So like just shifting that has helped me so much that if like I I recently had a fight in Vegas, and usually before other fights that I've had before, I've been all stressed out and like and this last one, I was looking around and there's tons of people and stands and my family's there, and it was amazing. Like I just looked and I said, I'm so grateful that I get to do this. And I wasn't thinking like this guy's gonna rip my hat off, like which I normally would before. I was like, this is incredible. Like everything that's thrown at me, like, thank you for being able to do this. And it's like, I've tried to share this with everybody I know because it literally has taken my stress level. It's changed my life in the past, like, several months since I heard that expression. And it's so true.
I think we often miss two things. That pressure is a privilege. Not everybody gets to have the pressure that we experience. And when you shift your brain to I have to do something, and you shift it to I get to do something, it
Hmm.
totally shifts your focus. because a have to feels like, oh, like I have to go to work today. No, you get to go to work today. You get to wake up, have a body that is going to let you carry yourself throughout your entire workday, provide a service, provide value. You get to do that. It's a privilege to have the pressure of whatever it is that you're facing. So I agree 100%.
100%.
And
Yep.
the other thing about that pressure, anxiety, responsibility, I think that the more responsible people get for other people, they start to feel like they lose control and they're trying to over control certain situations, which obviously creates anxiety. But Jordan Peterson, he talks about how the responsibility is a privilege. And the more responsibility you create for yourself, the more purpose you create for yourself. And he does this great, I don't know if you saw Jay's interview with Jordan Peterson. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It was something else. And he talks about that. He talks about how, responsibility, pressure is actually, it's your purpose, it becomes your purpose. And I think that's really, really cool. Well, I could literally, seriously, we could go for days, and I would love to have you back if you'd be interested in coming back, Dr. Vester, because this stuff really does. I think we're hearing more about it. I think more people are talking about it, but I also think that the internet's doing us a disservice with a ton of misinformation for people who aren't out there practicing it, teaching it, showing people how to really apply some of these practices. So I appreciate you being here and answering all of my curiosities.
My
Now,
pleasure.
let's get back to two truths and a lie. I'm going to recap the two truths and a lie. Fortunately, I don't think you gave up any clues from maybe one or two, but from our conversation. But number one, your mom was a public school teacher. Number two, your father was a pastor. And number three, you were a collegiate tennis player. Joe, what are your thoughts, man?
That's really difficult, man. I'm gonna think. I think that where you grew up, there's a high likelihood that your father was a pastor, just from my stereotypes of that area, and also too. So my ancestors are from that great state. My great grandfather was a governor of North Carolina.
Oh,
So,
wow. That's
Which I thought was a total lie when he told me that.
Also a Supreme Court justice. His son was Supreme Court justice, and James Iredell was governor of North Carolina. So a lot of pastors there in the Bible Belt. So I'm going to say that's a truth. I don't believe that your mom was a school teacher.
Hold on.
Interesting.
Hold on. I'm going to go the collegiate tennis player, and the devil's always in the details. I think you did some sport in college, but I don't think it was tennis. I think your mom was a school teacher because you actually confirmed it when I asked by accident, your school teacher, and you said, yep. And yes, I think your father was a pastor. So that's my prediction.
Okay. Well, you're incorrect. You're incorrect. Yeah. So my mom was a public school teacher. She taught kindergarten for 34 years.
Okay.
I did play tennis in college. I gave it up my sophomore year so I could transfer. And my dad is in construction. He's been building everything from houses to high rises for as long as I can remember.
Does he preach about it though? Does he?
Oh, you're stereotyping, Joe.
He does do a lot of work. He does do a lot of mission construction. So he goes to places like the Dominican Republic and Jamaica, places like that.
JC was a carpenter, so he's in good company, right?
Yeah.
Man. Wow.
That was fun. Okay, well, Dr. Vester, thank you so much for joining us today. I really, really enjoyed this conversation. I can't wait to re-listen to it and learn even more. And we'd love to have you back. So thank you very, very much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Selling the Dream. We know you don't want to miss a single episode, so go subscribe today wherever you get your podcasts. And then make sure to share the show with your friends and leave us a review.